You're listening to the Geriatric Mamas Podcast with Jessica Raziri
and Sonia Tapley.
I've been super excited for this recording. I've been looking forward to it. And then it's like, I feel like now that I have like surrogacy on my mind, I'm like hearing all these stories that are just like popping up. Like Chrissy Teigan, I just saw an article this morning that she just gave birth to she just had her son via surrogacy. And like, it was just like so funny because like, I think in the article she was saying how she was pregnant with her daughter at the same time as her surrogate was pregnant with her son. So she has a 6-month-old daughter and then now like her newborn son. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just so cool. And then she had like a really sweet, I don't know if you saw, but they had a really sweet tribute to their surrogate. And she was just like, had like all these kind of things. And they ended up naming their son after her surrogate. It was like, I think Ren Alexander Stevens or something like that, or Steven, whatever. Yes, it's just like
that's
sweet.
So sweet.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. And she actually also has a podcast coming out that I'm going to be speaking on and talking more about my experience and my new business that I'm launching and all things surrogacy. So I'm just so happy that we're talking more and more about surrogacy. I feel like sometimes there's, people that just aren't willing to talk about, they want to keep it more quiet. And it's just nice so people can feel like they're not alone.
Oh,
right.
For sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good segue to introduce who was just speaking. So we have an awesome guest today. Her name is Jessie, and she is Surrogacy Simplified, the name of your company?
Yes.
Okay. I'll let you do your little pitch. I don't want to misspeak of what you do. Say it all wrong.
Of course. I recently launched Surrogacy Simplified, and we are a consulting and concierge dedicated to helping intended parents from start to finish. So we don't match intended parents with surrogates, but rather we guide them through every single step of the way. And if they needed a surrogate, we would go ahead and connect them. Either we would support them in doing so privately, whether it's through social media and what to post, or through connecting them with an agency. But we hold their hand through every step of the process. We noticed, or through my experience, I should say, there was just this gap. And I feel like having someone there that's really your advocate through the whole process and then helping you with coordination and relationship management and just all of the little details rather than the big picture is just so needed when you're navigating such a complex way to achieve parenthood.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Sonia was actually telling me a horror story because I was kind of like confused. I'm like, so explain to me what Jessie does again. And she's explaining how it's like a concierge service and you fill in the gaps and you basically help couples through this process. And then I don't know if Sonia, if you want to tell that horror story that you told me about the families that went to Mexico to.
Oh, geez, this is a terrible story.
Did you see that,
Yes.
Jessie? Yeah. So when I was researching surrogacy, I was on YouTube and I saw it's like a documentary, basically turned like almost like a help cry. These people wanted to have 2 children. They were a gay couple, so they couldn't obviously have their own biological children together, and they went through a company based in Mexico and ended up finding out that the mothers were having some complications, so they went down to Mexico to see what they could do to help. And the company that they were paying for the surrogacy was putting these women in they weren't real hospitals. They were just like underground places where surrogacy was, happening. The medical treatment and the birth and all of that was happening in like this underground place. And they found out when they got there how sketchy this company actually was. And the women weren't being paid very much for the actual service. They were willingly doing it, but the money wasn't really going to them. Most of the money was being skimmed off the top by the company that they went through. And these women were getting horrible medical treatment, and they stayed there for the birth. And It was really horrific. Nothing was really going well. And then they ended up finding out that surrogacy is actually illegal in Mexico, if I'm not incorrect. But I'm pretty sure they said that surrogacy is actually illegal because of exploitation and all of that. And so basically now these people are stuck in Mexico with one of the moms got pregnant with twins. So they have 3 children and they're stuck in Mexico. They can't get birth certificates and they can't get passports. And I'm not sure how all of that works in Mexico. But these people have spent more than their life savings, a lot more than what they anticipated spending on the surrogacy process. And they are not able to leave Mexico with their children.
God.